Hello guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming, the series where we take a look at scary stories about our favorite video games. This time, sit back, relax, and enjoy Jack Hill, a Game & Watch mystery.
Hello, my name is Sean. I live in a high-rise studio apartment in Philadelphia. Recently I've seen many arcane events unfold, and I would greatly appreciate any advice. So let me start at the beginning. Just a few days ago, after arriving home from my part-time job, I also go to Drexel University part-time, I decided to take a short nap on my couch. Around an hour later, I was abruptly awoken when I heard the sound of a disc being read near my television. I then rubbed my eyes and noticed that the Wii had been turned on. I didn't think much of it. Unusual things often occur in my apartment. Doors would open and close, lights would flicker on and off, etc. Curious, I turned on the TV and I was delighted to see the Super Smash Bros. Brawl logo flash on the screen. Months have passed since I played that game, and I was eager to reclaim my self-proclaimed title as the Brawl Master. So I quickly just set up a match between myself, Rob, and a level 9 computer player with a random character at a random stage. And after the load screen vanished, Flat Zone 2, the stage representing an archaic Game & Watch console, was revealed along with my enemy, Lucas from Mother 3. Before I delivered my first attack, however, I noticed that the name over the character didn't say CPU, as it usually does. Instead, it was a name, Jack H. And that's odd, I thought, while I was pondering how the name even got there. Lucas jumped to the ledge of the skyscraper that was near the corner of the stage. Suddenly, all in-game music just stops. And I reached for the remote, wondering if I accidentally muted the game. And while I tried in vain to make the volume return, streaks of static rippled through the screen. "What's wrong with this stupid thing?" I shouted. Then, a second later, I saw Lucas fall from the ledge of a skyscraper. But just before his body touches the ground, the entire screen was inundated with static, accompanied by this loud, screeching noise. I hastily fumbled for a remote and just shut the TV off, sighing in relief. I headed towards the kitchen. I was dying for something to drink. I made it only halfway to my destination before I was paralyzed by the baleful sight. On the, counter lay this dusty Game & Watch. And I slowly crept forward to find a note attached to it, and it read, "You should play this game. It's really, really fun." And at the bottom of the note was a sloppy signature, Jack H. So confused and panicked, I darted out of my apartment and stood with my back against my door. I took several deep breaths to regain my composure. Somehow I convinced myself to go back inside. It's getting late after all. So I swiftly opened my door and saw another note on the floor. Trembling, I pick it up and read aloud. "Come play with me. Jump down. I'll catch you." Once again, the note had this uncanny signature of Jack H. The lights abruptly shut off, and the door leading to the balcony slammed open. A powerful gust of wind pushed me forward. "What do you want from me?" I demanded. And all I heard in return was this lurid sound of a boy's laughter, the gust of wind becoming so powerful that I tripped. I was propelled to the threshold of the room leading to the balcony, and with all the strength I could muster, I latched onto the door and screamed. Suddenly, the front door busts open, and a loud voice suddenly asks, "It's like, Sean, what's going on in here?" And simultaneously, the lights flashed back on, and the wind dissipated, leaving my house in this sheer bedlam. "Chris," I murmured, catching my breath. "I was just about to have a smoke, and I heard you yelling. The place is trash. What happened?" So I asked Chris, "Do you have any idea who Jack H could be?" And his eyes widened when he was asked. "Where'd you hear the name?" "He's been leaving extremely disturbing notes everywhere. Do you know him?" I asked. His face was cringing in fear, and he retorted, "It's really bad. Hurry and come with me. I'll tell you about Jack Hill." We rushed into this place, adjacent to mine, and began talking. Jack Hill was his only child of Mary Hill, who lived where I live now. Chris quickly said, while gathering many of his belongings, "As you know, I've lived here for a very long time. Jack and Mary lived here several decades ago. Being a single mother, Mary worked 2 jobs to support herself and her child. She did whatever she could for the boy, but was rarely home to see him. She longed for her son to be happy, and one day she bought him some video game called Fire, and at this point I had interrupted him, and I said, "Game & Watch." "Yeah," he said. "Jack really liked that game. In fact, whenever his mother saw him, he was always playing that game. Shit, he'd become so addicted to the game that he skipped school one day to play it, and after receiving notification from the school, his mother had no choice but to take the game away. Afraid that he would find the game, she explained the situation to me and asked me to keep it. Jack became hysterical. Through the walls I heard him talking non-stop about this game, high scores, and how he saved the day every time. Though I found his rambling disconcerting, I saw it as harmless. That is, until, that cold, windy night. The night when Jack's mother arrived home. He begged her to play with him. "Sure, what would you like to play?" she asked. And then I heard her door barge open, followed by a strange request. "Jump down. I'll catch you." The last thing I heard was this terrified shriek next door. I ran there as fast as I could, and when I opened the door, all I saw was the deranged face of Jack Hill standing on the ledge of the balcony. And I asked him what he did. He just flourished with his big smile, one that felt like 1,000 needles were piercing into my skin. And then he jumped off of that building. And once Chris told that story, he'd finished stuffing his belongings in a suitcase and said, "Listen to me, Sean. Both of the people who lived there before you also leapt to their death. And I don't want to see another life going away. The police may think these suicides are coincidences, but I know that Jack Hill has something to do with it. His rancor will never be put to rest, Sean. You need to move immediately before it's too late. I'm leaving now. Best of luck to you." "You're leaving already?" I asked. Watching him press the button to summon the elevator, he gave me this nervous smile, waved farewell, and descended to the first floor. As quickly as possible, I ran into my room, grabbed my wallet, and left that wretched apartment. 2 days after these events, I'm now typing this in a hotel a few blocks away. My student loans can't pay for my stay here much longer, and I certainly can't afford to break the lease. I'm terrified to return to that apartment, but I can't think of anything else I can do. Please, if someone here can think of something I can do, let me know as soon as you can.
Well, that wasn't exactly the best of the best, but it gave me a feeling of Console Me, which was one of my favorite gaming creepypastas. But as a whole, this felt incredibly underwhelming with its overall cliché tale of Jack Hill. Now, it starts out with the Act 1 introducing our character and getting right into the game. Hell, the obtaining of the title was a swift kick to the groin, just having it appear with a letter from Jack. Honestly, it's the first time I'm saying this, but I'd rather have the clerk from the Yellow Devil creepypasta writing this tossing a game through the window, or hell, Bootman Bill making an appearance, since this is just plain off. And thinking about it, Bootman Bill is a pretty cool way to obtain a game, but I'd rather have to say, it was a weird way of getting the game with just a letter. It was too thrown out there, too easy. It's just right there, getting right to the next act, which we'll go into, because Act 2 had this intrigue to it, which went far too fast. It starts up and it just ends, and it should have built up. The end with that smile just kind of gives away that this is Jack, and it could make sense, and honestly, that is the most fucked up part, because take yourself out of the creepypasta for a second, and I always do this. I always like it when I see the concept, because I sit back, in my chair when I'm done, recording these, and I think, out of all of us 6 billion plus strong on this planet, there is always someone that is fucked up like this, who drives you mad to the point of just ending your life. Hell, a person who lives so close, who slowly scares and maddens the neighbors. I mean, it's crazy to think about it. Somewhere in this world, no matter how remote or how easily accessible this kind of person, it could exist, in any country. Hell, the next time one of you all move, this could be the next person just waiting to torment you. I mean, you could be the fresh meat. I really hope not. That would just be really scary. But when you think about it, it's pretty horrifying. And what this tale could have done is focus on the backstory of Jack Hill to truly make this a terrifying and memorable character. I mean, it could be up there with, someone like, oh god, I hope not Jeff the Killer, but it could be somewhere up there with, many of the creepypasta characters. It's almost like a scary movie. When you have a good scary movie villain, they are there. They are completely entrenched, and Jack Hill could have really been one of them, a really truly terrifying character with a really weird, bizarre, but realistic concept. And at the end of this, I'd really like to see this worked upon and made much more stronger, because it really deserves it. It's not a shitpasta like that Destroy All Humans one we did. Ooh, that one could be so much better. No, that one needed to be rewritten, oh god. But this one can be a lot more better than it is right now. So let's hope that maybe it gets some kind of a sequel, official or unofficial, because really it's a good one. And as always, I do have to ask you, what do you think can be better? And what would you personally change? Not me, because like I said, everyone has a different mindset to it. It's fun reading the comments to a creepypasta episode that I upload, because some people hate the story, some people really love it. And it's fun to see how it can be changed, so please, let me know. This has been another episode of Haunted Gaming, and if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudahar, and I'm out.